Good morning. I'm Nakakande Stella, a student of UMI, giving brief points about a paper to identify the complexities associated with procurement of the projects and programs, with case studies of the different articles where we got our points, and these are procuring complex projects using the competitive dialogue by Mickey Hosea, commentary on COVID-19 vaccine hesitance in sub-Saharan Africa, um, then resource finance infrastructure thoughts on Chinese finance projects in Uganda, and also the implications for reforming supply chain policies and practices in pandemic times. Vaccine, that is a case study of vaccine supply chain management by Alex Luhura. So I will start on with defining the complexity in procurement terms, which relates to the level of intimacy and scope of issues involved in procuring a good or service. And it is measured by considering the external and internal influences on the procurement activities, such as the risk, total cost of ownership, and the different dynamics. So I'll go ahead to issue out the different complexities associated with the first article, which is the resource finance infrastructure projects, which were financed by the Chinese bank, and this included Kampala Entebbe Express Highway, Karuma Hydroelectric Dam, Isimba Hydroelectric Dam, Malaba to Kampala section of the East African Standard Gauge Railway, and these had the following complexities. There was lack of transparency and accountability. It created unsustainable debt, and it promoted Chinese interests over the borrowing country, that is Uganda. There were a lot of many borrowing interests due to the money that the government borrowed. It created increased unemployment, mainly for the countrymen from Uganda, since most of the Chinese were the ones that did the work. There was unfairly compete that unfairly competed with the local business, since these projects bring about displacement of people and other displacement of business, so there was no business for the local persons. Then there was corruption, since it was dealing with money. There was also they had poor working conditions, especially the home people, and it resulted in substandard constructions. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Angela Gloria Masi, still presenting the continuation of complexities associated with the procurement projects in Uganda, as in the article of Kimbo, assessing the Bujagali hydropower project in Uganda. Dam Bujagal Dam was built to increase power supply and its development to assess the compliance based on water knowledge, societal values, and interdisciplinary approach. The complexities include corruption, delays in corruption due to delays in the construction due to corruption cases. That is, most projects like that one of the hydropower as cases of corruption. Then opposition from the local and international NGOs, lack of knowledge regarding the risk associated with the project. Sometimes you find that when these people are carrying out the project assessment, they don't have knowledge on the risk which are going to be incurred when conducting the project. Poor stakeholder involvement. But you can continue. It is stopped.
Yeah, good morning. This is Collins, and I will take you through the complexities related with the vaccine supply chain. Um, During the COVID pandemic, we had issues to do with vaccines, and these are the following. The following are basically the complexities that were associated with the vaccines. One of them was lack of information about the vaccines uh, to both maybe the health workers, since it was a new pandemic. Another one was inefficient supply chain systems in the developing countries. Another one, we had budget constraints in the developing countries, which were hit by the COVID pandemic. Another one, we had lack of storage facilities, proper handling and distribution systems. The vaccine itself had its specific temperatures and ways of handling, and this was new to us, and we basically had no facilities to handle it. And then the other one was vaccine hesitancy by the people on grounds of mistrust and then beliefs. Uh, Continuation is about also the vaccine hesitance, basically in the sub-Saharan Africa. We also had basically vaccine mistrust issues by the sub-Saharan African personnel on the products from European countries, since some still believe that the white countries basically wanted to eliminate the Africans. We had issues to do with vaccine safety, which was not guaranteed due to lack of the proper cold chain systems. We also had lack of reliable information about the vaccination. And on the other hand, people had fear for the adverse effects following vaccination, since they had observed what had happened to their colleagues. I thank you.
Good morning. I'm Namdi Maxensia. I'm here to present the complexities associated with procuring complex projects using the competitive dialogue by Mike Jose. While using the competitive dialogue, the European Commission has developed a CD procedure. The expectations of experts have largely been confirmed by the practices in 16 CD procured construction projects. And the complexities under this article are expected large transaction costs, procuring authorities hesitate on allowing the maximum possible flexibility in their demands, and the bid prices still has more influence on who to award the contract. Contractors are reluctant to share potential innovative information in fear that their information will be made public. And among the strategies that can be identified to address the complexities are engagement of influential leaders like religious leaders in creating awareness for vaccine. Engagement of like influential leaders like religious leaders in creating awareness for vaccination. That is by Ndahura. Then health workers can proactively guide the communities on seeking credible information about the COVID-19 vaccination from trustworthy sources. Procuring authorities and the contractors should build mutual trust so that the fear of sharing information is dealt away with. This can be achieved done through improving their communicative skills and information exchange, defining well the mandate of the party involved in the CD, and also pay attention to the quality, length, and timing of questions and answers. Procuring complex projects, while procuring complex projects with competitive dialogue by Hossein. Thank you.
My name is Oliver Pisakelo. I'm presenting the strategies for the above complexities. One of the strategies is prioritizing qualitative aspects more than relying on the prices aspects when awarding the contracts to encourage competition and to lead award of contracts to potential and quality contractors. Another strategy would be ensuring joint efforts to lower the cost of. For example, the procuring authority can put less details in their specifications, while the contractors can put less details on their designs, so that both behave in a risk-averse manner. Another strategy, the government and construction companies should ensure that compliance with international standards relating to environmental and social impact assessment and human rights are taken in place. Another strategy is increasing participation of stakeholders in the project development to improve and quicken negotiation at national and regional levels when planning for the projects, like the Bujagali hydropower dam. Another strategy is ensuring information access at all project levels, and the project developers should consider and adopt consultative communication mechanism procedures, and empowering the locals to get information about the project, like the one of Bujagali hydropower. In conclusion, procuring complex project has been highlighted above according to the different articles. However, with the strategies identified, those complexities can be addressed and mitigated so that the PPPs produce the intended objectives of the intended PPEs produce the intended objectives of the stakeholders and the projects in general. Thanks.